Hello and welcome to episode 6. I'm your host, Sam Lander34. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of housekeeping as well as setting up a couple of new plugins. First of all, we need to get Band Manager out and replace it with something that's going to work. Thankfully, we've already got CMI installed, and CMI has all of those same features, so it's kind of a 2-for-1. Also, we're going to install protocol support so that players that are not on version 1.13.2 that are running earlier versions will be able to join our server. As well, we're going to include Worldguard so that we can protect our spawn and make sure that players are safe and not being harassed by zombies and skellies and all that good stuff while they're in the spawn. I'm going to talk a little bit about ranks. We're not really going to dig into it. I think we're going to wait until next one. But effectively, we are going to start researching the permissions and commands that we're going to need for those ranks. And I'm going to have to do a lot of that offline, but at least I can show you guys a little bit of how I start to do that. Are you ready to get into it? Let's do it.
You have an idea to make Minecraft better. Are you ready? Let's build it.
So in the last episode, I promised I was going to deal with my plugin issues. If I do /plugins on my server, you can see that Band Manager is not working out so great. However, since I installed CMI and CMI has band management included, I can do CMI, temp ban, temp IP ban, mute chat, all of those good things. So there's absolutely no reason for me to use Band Manager on this server. So I'm going to take that right out. So I'm going to take that out. So first things first, I'm going to go into my plugins and I'm going to remove Band Manager, delete that. Oh, can't do it because the server's running, so we're going to have to stop that. Stop. Try again, there it goes. All right, we don't need the Band Manager configuration folder anymore, so we can get rid of that. It's good to keep this clean. And since we've got the server stopped, let's go ahead and change a couple of configurations in CMI. In order to be able to run the belltop command for economy, we need to enable the economy in CMI. So we're going to do that here. Also, because I'm in North America, we use the $sign. So I'm going to change that from euro to dollar. And I'm going to hit save. That should be good for now. Now, there's another problem that I have in the server, and I want to deal with that right away here. One is, if you're not running version 1.13, you won't be able to join. So there's a plugin called ProtocolSupport that you can download. And I'm going to put the link for this in the description. This is the latest build that they have. It's a development build. It's not actually stable yet. They don't have a stable build for 1.13. But this will essentially allow anybody from 1.7 and up to be able to join your server, which is important. So we're going to download that, which I've already done. And we're going to add that into our plugins. It's just that easy. Also, I went back to the Fallaway download page that you saw in the previous episode, and I'm going to download Worldguard because the original Worldguard doesn't play nice with Fallaway. So I'm going to get their version, and we're going to install that into the server as well. Problem is, on the server, the spawn is being overrun by mobs, and with Worldguard, we'll be able to create a region that is free of mobs. Players would kind of expect that the spawn would be mob-free. Okay, so now that I've got those installed, I'm going to restart the server. And when you're using git bash, it remembers your command history, so it's a lot easier just to hit the up key on your keyboard to rerun that long Java command. So I never really explained what was kind of going on in this Java command. It reads java-xms1g xmx1g. That means we're assigning 1 GB of RAM to the server, and you can usually run about 20 players off of that. Once we get more players into the server, I'm going to increase that. I've got 128 gigs to play with, so we can run roughly 1,500 players on the server if we really needed to. But for those of you who are doing this on your home computers, chances are you only have 1 or 2 gigs of free memory to dedicate to your server, so between 20 and 40 players. If you want to do much more than that, typically then you're going to be looking for Minecraft hosting. Okay, as we can see, the Worldguard folder has been created. And now we should be able to log back in, regardless of whatever version. So I'm going to hit F5 here and see what comes back. Looks like the Spotify is already on there. That's great. So one thing I wanted to point out to you guys, I've set up a domain name for this now. And any of you who want to come and join on the server, please forgive that there are going to be restarts as I build the server. However, you are free to come and play if you like, and the IP is play.epicfaction.gq. I'm going to put that in the description as well. Please come, invite your friends. All right, so let's go in and see what our new commands are now. Oh, looks like there's an update for CMI. I'm going to go ahead and download that. All right, so Worldguard is now installed, so we can go, the region command is active now, great. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my inventory and I'm going to get my World Edit wand because that is the quickest way to select a region. I'm going to go CMI top, which is just a quick way of getting above anything. And I'm going to select the region here to prevent mobs from coming into the spawns. And I'm actually going to come right out into the area here. And we're going to choose from this corner, and we're going to fly all the way across to the other side of the spawn. And we're going to set the other corner with our right mouse button right about here. Nothing too scientific here. Just happy little trees. And if you get that joke, you're old. Okay, so now that we've got a region defined, we are going to go /region rg create, and we're going to call this spawn. All right, so a new region was created. Now I forgot to mention, when you create a region, it is actually cognizant of up and down. So I'm going to remove that region just because it isn't going to cover the sky and underground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go expand vert, and what expand /expand vert in World Edit does, it expands your selection all the way to sky level and all the way down to bedrock. So now I've got the complete area. I can go /rg create spawn. Now I've created a region for the spawn. Now to prevent mobs from spawning in this region, I'm going to use the flag command of region and go rg flag spawn, and I'm going to say mob spawning deny, just like so. So if I come back into the spawn now, because it's nighttime, there should be some zombies, etc., flying around in here. Okay, there's a zombie right there. So this command just prevents them from spawning. It doesn't kill, it won't kill existing mobs that have already been there. So we're going to use the /butcher command to kill out any bad zombies. That should do it. Now that we've got that region set, it should be now impossible for mobs to spawn in the spawn area. And I'm just going to let Despotify know. Despotify, you are now safe in the spawn. Mobs are disabled. Great. All right, so that's what Worldguard does. It allows you to create regions, and there's a ton of flags that you can use. Let's take a look at some of them. So I'm just going to go spawn, and I'm going to go question, and it's going to say unknown flag, and it's going to show me what is available. So allow shop, allow commands, block break, block place, block commands, build, buyable, chest access, chorus, fruit, teleport. So you know how when you're in the end and you get chorus fruit, you can use them to teleport. Well, we can deny that action using Worldguard. We can also stop lava, we can stop explosions, and we can, I don't have to stop the creeper explosions because grief prevention is taking care of that for me. So now our spawn is safe, and users are now free to roam around without getting hurt. So let's take a look at our plugins list. As we can see, everything is green now. Fantastic. I did notice that there was an error on the console, and I'm going to have to investigate that later. We typically don't want errors flying around in the console because it does slow your server down. Speaking of how fast your server is, Minecraft time is measured in ticks per second. There's roughly 20 ticks per second. So if your server is running perfectly and there's nothing slowing it down, your TPS is going to be super close to 20 or be 20. Obviously, if you have a ton of plugins, it's going to slow down a bit, but if it's not too far below, then your users won't really notice the lag. So to find out what your TPS of your server is, do /TPS, and you can see. So right now, because of the plugins that I've loaded, it's slightly slower than 20. It's sitting at 19.74 right now. But that's still really good. Users won't notice any kind of slowdown. Also, because we went into the CMI configuration, we should now be able to do bell top, or I guess CMI bell top. A lot of these commands like bell top and feed, fix, repair, those kinds of things, those commands come from a plugin called Essentials, which is pretty standard on most servers. However, CMI re-implemented them, so now you have to do /CMI before the command. So if I do CMI belltop, there we go. It can show that there's been 3 players online so far, and what our balances are. So each of us started out with 100 in-game dollars. One of the things that I'm going to need to do on the server is create a bunch of aliases. Now you saw how I did that in my last video, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of that, mapping these commands to what people would expect for essentials. So /heal instead of /CMI heal, etc. I also have to go through the permissions list and figure out which commands I'm going to be giving to ranks. I think I'm going to focus on ranks on my next video. It can take quite a while, and I have quite a bit of data from my previous server that I need to import into the new ranking system using CMI. In the meantime, let's test to see if protocol support works. I'm going to close out of Minecraft, and I'm going to reload into 1.12 just to see if we're able to join the server still, now that we've got protocol support installed. Ultimately, you want to make it as easy as possible for your players to join your server. So protocol support is a really good plugin to have. All right, we're now into 1.12.2. Going to multiplayer. Look at that. Awesome. Great. So we were able to log in no problem. Okay, so that's great. We've already accomplished what I set out to do tonight, make it so that anybody can join the server, make it so that the spawn is safe. We also need to go through and make sure that people have commands to get around. So one of the commands that is really popular is RT, and that's random teleport. So if I do CMI random teleport, there we go. As you can see, I just got randomly teleported out into the wild, and let's see how far away I am. 775, 579, not bad. Okay, so you'll see me type in commands like I expect them to work, like /home, and of course it doesn't. That's an essentials command. I have to get used to using /CMI before the commands, and I don't want my users to have to go through that. I don't want my players to have to go through that, so I'm going to alias a bunch of those commands up. I just need to make a map of that. So how do we make a map of permissions? Well, a lot of it has to do with the documentation. So if we go in to CMI, there's going to be a list of commands in here. So let's go to the overview. This is an interesting feature of CMI, portal system with custom particles, custom commands, and bungee cord support. This is going to be important later when we expand into more than one server and require a lobby. And then we're going to need portals to get around. Okay, so I'm just going to click on any of the wiki and go to the CMI list. So this is the tab list that I was showing you earlier, and it has a lot of customization. I think that's another episode. But right now, we're just coming in here to see which commands we can do. So I just did a Google for CMI commands wiki just to come and get here. So let's take a look at all of the, like there's so many commands in CMI. I'm going to have to go through this and figure out which ones I want to give my players. So for example, /CMI heal. So I literally am going to build a list of all of the commands that I might give to my players. So heal is one, health off is another one that they're going to need, home, homes, etc. So I'm going to build a list of these, and then I'm going to go through and build the permissions. So all of the commands in CMI follow the same format for permissions. So it's going to be cmi.command.heal, cmi.command.healthOp. Homes might be a little different. You know, take a look at that. But we need to go through the permission nodes to be able to figure that out. So if we jump back into Minecraft, okay, we can do luck perms. Oh, of course, now that I'm in 1.12, I don't have tab completion. So I'm going to jump back out of Minecraft and load back into 1.13. Just give me a second. All right, so we're back. So what I'm going to do here is do luck perms, group member permission. So actually, before I get into that, I just want to specify. In my last video, I created a member group. That's kind of the first group that a person comes in, and that's their default permissions, but not really. You know, member is kind of like rank 1, and with that comes certain privileges, and we will add that into, we will give those permissions to the member group. But permissions that are global and everybody's going to have regardless of their rank, those ones we should put into default. But we can use the tab completion as a way of researching the permission. So I'm going to go luck perms group default permission set, and then I can do cmi.command dot, and now I can see all of the commands that I want to do. So I want them to have AFK, and that's cmi.command.afk, cmi.command.back, cmi.command.fly. Some of the higher ranks are going to have cmi.command.god for God mode. GM is game mode, and that I'll give to admins, but I'm not really worried about that right now. H is for hat, cmi.command.hat, cmi.command.heal, cmi.command.head. There's Despotify being a noob. Hey, what up, Despotify? That's the other thing too. If you come and play on my server when I'm recording, you're gonna get a shout out. What up, Despotify? All right. .info, .inv. Yeah, you need the kit command. cmi.command.kit. All right. So not as many commands as I thought. I'm gonna have to take a look to see if there's some subsets, but this is a good start. Safe teleport. So cmi.safeteleport, that's like TPA and TP here. So we're going to say cmi.safeteleport. What else do we have here? I just wanted you guys to kind of see how you research this stuff. Go through the commands here, find out what is going to be applicable, and make sure that you go through. So let's tie top, because I didn't see that in there. So that's a command too. Like I said, you need to go through this list and see what's what. So make sure you go through the wiki, research the plugin. That's how you're going to get to know what the permission nodes are, what the commands are, and what you want to give to your players. So I've already achieved my objectives for tonight's video. I wanted to get a Worldguard installed. I wanted to make the server safe in the spawn area for players to join. And I wanted to do a little bit of research to see what commands I was going to be giving players. In the meantime here, let's go outside of the spawn and start making plots for player shops and whatnot. I'm just going to mark them out right now. I need a plugin called For Rent, I believe it's called, or Plot Shop or something like that. But essentially it allows people to rent spaces inside the spawn for X amount per month or per day or whatever. It makes it kind of interesting because a lot of times people will come out of the spawn and they will create a shop, and then they'll get busy with something and they won't pay their rent, and their shop will go up for sale, and somebody else will come and swoop in and steal the shop. And there's not anything anybody can do about it because the game's actually designed like that, if you need to keep an eye on your stuff. So let's try right here as a corner, keep it there. I like to have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces in between. So we've already got one. Let's expand by 15 and by 15 to get a 16 by 16 square, and call it walls white. And that is a standard plot size. It's exactly one chunk. Now, if you want to get really, really precise about this, I mean, you can always kind of set this up such that you are actually on 0, 0. But, we're not dealing with a faction system here, so we can be a little more laissez-faire with the regions. So again, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make this expanded by 15. And I'm going to expand this by 15. Okay, so we've got our white plot now. Let's set up another one beside it. We're going to go left, right, expand 15, and expand 15. And we're going to do walls black. Perfect. So that looks good. Now, I don't really want to have to do that all the way around the spawn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get both of the corners here. And I'm going to use the stack command to do that. That's great. Now, I also don't want to do this again. So another world edit trick that you can do is you can take your region. So we've just selected these 2 squares. And I'm going to stand on this corner because this is going to be my starting point. And I'm going to do // copy. Now that is in the clipboard. I'm going to rotate it 270 degrees. And then I'm going to paste it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think is, let's see how far this is off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And paste. We're going to paste it here. Ta-da! So we managed to copy those two squares, rotate them around 270 degrees, and paste them back down. So now we can do the same thing as we did back there, is we can go in and select those two squares. Now we can expand, or we can stack them even farther. So I'm going to say stack 5 because this is quite a big spawn. It's too far. So I'm going to say undo. Now, the stack command works like your expand command. It will go in the direction that you're pointing. So I'm going to just say stack 4. That's better. Again, I'm going to rotate 270 degrees because it's still in the clipboard. And we want it to be 5 paces off of here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on to the 6th. Okay, come all the way down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and come on the 6th. And now we should be able to paste here. Perfect. I love it when it works out like that. You know, in between we can put roads and stuff like that. So down here, okay, I'm going to expand that, or stack that, sorry, I'd say 3. That worked out well. So we want to go from here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the 6th, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the 6th. All right, so we're going to rotate by another 270 and paste. Okay, and I think we got 4 out of the last side there, so let's do that again. I'm going to stack that by 4 times. Perfect. Oh, that worked out well. So over here, I am just going to copy these 4 squares. All right, got that. Now I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to go onto the other side of this structure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I can paste there. Okay, so we're going to have a problem here at this corner. Now we can either make smaller shops, or we can just leave it open. I think I'm just going to leave it open. I'm going to leave this plot here, and we're just going to remove the black. So I'm going to go ahead and set this back to grass block. Okay, there to there. Set grass block. There we go. The idea is people will not be walking in behind, because then they're just going to have a really long way to walk around. Hopefully they're going to be walking in front. We'll see how it goes. Depends on how people decide to build their shops. But I think that's it for tonight, guys. Tomorrow I'm going to be dealing with ranks, and that's going to be a longer video. You'll forgive that this one's a bit shorter, but I just really did want to get WorldGuard installed. As you can see, a lot of building your servers are going to be messing around with plugins. And hopefully watching these videos will show you kind of how to get around plugins. They're all pretty much the same in terms of working with them, editing YAML files, and installing them, downloading them, all of the same stuff. You just really have to look out for your versions. If I'm running a 1.13 server, I want plugins that are designed for 1.13 are going to work seamlessly. Obviously, if that plugin has dependencies, find out from the developer which dependencies are going to work best with it, because not all of them are going to work good. Sometimes you'll get an updated dependency, and you find that you needed an older version of that plugin in order for it to work just right. And you know, these are bugs that you can bring up with those developers to fix in their plugins. You're going to find out all about that later on when we start building our own custom plugins for these servers. It's not exactly easy to keep on top of all of the bugs that can pop up. So try not to scream at the developers on the Spigot page if they're not moving quick enough for you. I hope you learned something, and if you like this video, please share it. If you have any questions about this video or any of the videos that came before, put them down in the comments, and I'll try and address your question in my next video. With that, this is SamLander34, signing out.